"Let me repay my debt. Just tell me what you want, human," said the desperate alien woman. The asteroid floated silently through the void, a forgotten remnant of civilization's expansion into the outer rim. Kale had chosen this desolate chunk of rock deliberately, far from the reach of corporate salvagers and government agencies. His makeshift base, carved into the asteroid's porous surface, had become his sanctuary after years of running from his past. The solar panels hummed with quiet efficiency as he sat in his workshop, fingers stained with grease, repairing a communications array that might never work again. Then came the tremor. The ground beneath his feet shook violently, sending tools cascading across the metal workbench. Kale stumbled toward the observation window, his heart racing. Through the reinforced glass, he saw it. A sleek vessel, impossibly beautiful, descending rapidly through the asteroid field. Its hull was covered in bioluminescent patterns, pulsing with deep blues and violets. Definitely not human technology. The ship struck the asteroid's surface with tremendous force, sending up clouds of crystalline dust that glimmered like diamonds. Kale debated whether to hide or investigate. Curiosity won, as it always did. He sealed his base and ventured out into the airlock, donning his thermal suit and activating the magnetic boots that would keep him anchored to the asteroid's weak gravity. The wreckage was catastrophic. The alien vessel lay crumpled against a jagged outcropping, its left wing sheared clean off, emergency lights flickering weakly through cracks in its hull. He approached cautiously, every instinct screaming danger. Through a warped viewport, he saw movement. Someone was alive in there. When he managed to pry open the emergency hatch, she fell forward into his arms. Her skin shimmered with an otherworldly luminescence, pale silver with hints of indigo that deepened along her shoulders and neck. Her features were almost humanoid, but utterly alien. Eyes far too large and luminous, cheekbones sharper than any terrestrial being, pointed ears adorned with tiny crystalline structures that tinkled softly as she moved. Her hair hung in long, braided sections, woven with threads of silver and blue. "Please," she gasped, her voice like wind chimes played in reverse, haunting and beautiful. "You must help me. They're coming." Kale caught her as her legs gave out, her lithe frame surprisingly solid beneath his hands. Her eyes, those magnificent opalescent eyes, fixed on his with desperate intensity. He'd seen fear before, but never quite like this. It radiated from her like heat from a flame. "What's your name?" he asked, already moving to carry her toward his base. "And who's coming?" "Venya," she whispered, and then the pain seemed to overtake her. As he rushed her through the airlock into the warmth and relative safety of his sanctuary, Kale realized his solitary existence had just become infinitely more complicated. But watching the way her luminescent skin caught the light of his base's interior, hearing that extraordinary voice speaking his language as if she'd always known it, something within him shifted. The debt, whatever it was that had brought her here, was about to entangle them both in ways neither could predict. End of poem. Venya recovered slowly, her alien physiology requiring different treatment than Kale initially anticipated. She spent the first 3 days unconscious, her body attempting to adapt to the asteroid's environment. Kale monitored her vitals on salvaged medical equipment, watching the strange rhythms of her heart, which beat with an irregular pulse that seemed to synchronize with her emotional state. When she finally stirred, her luminescent eyes searched for his immediately. "The debt," she said, before even greeting him properly. "You saved my life. On my world, this creates an obligation, a galactic standard contract of blood and bond. I owe you everything now. Kale helped her sit up, providing water infused with minerals that seemed to accelerate her recovery. I don't believe in debts purchased with survival. You were dying. I helped. That's all. Venya shook her head, the crystalline structures in her hair jingling with the movement. You don't understand the magnitude. I was fleeing Captain Morven of the Crimson Syndicate. He controls trade routes across 17 systems. I stole something from him, data that could topple his empire. If he finds me, he finds you. The explosion destroyed my ship's transponder, but his hunters are relentless. Kale leaned back in his chair, processing the information. Great. Just what he needed. Someone hunted by an interstellar crime lord. What could possibly be worth all this? Proof of his slavery operations, Venya said quietly. Millions of beings, forced into labor across his stations. The data would liberate them, destroy his authority. But it would also destroy him, and Morven doesn't forgive. Over the following weeks, something shifted between them. Kale showed her his base, shared his rations, taught her about Earth's history. Venya opened her world to him, her civilization, the crystalline empire that existed across 12 star systems, her role as a dissident operative trying to change the galaxy from within. They talked through countless cycles, sharing meals and stories, their conversations growing increasingly intimate. One evening, as they sat, watching the distant stars from the observation deck, Venya turned to him, with tears streaming down her luminescent face. I need to tell you what I'm willing to do, she said, her voice trembling. To repay the debt properly. In my culture, when someone saves your life, you offer them payment in whatever currency they most value. I don't want payment, Venya. Let me finish, she whispered, moving closer. In my case, I can offer my knowledge, my skills, my resources. But also, she reached out, her fingers, which had 5 delicate joints instead of 4, traced his jawline. I can offer this, my body, my heart, myself. Completely, until the debt is settled. Kale's breath caught. Her skin, where it touched his, felt warm, humming with subtle energy. That's not how this works. Perhaps not in your culture, Venya murmured, her luminous eyes searching his. But in mine, physical intimacy is sacred, reserved only for those we trust with our lives. I'm asking you to accept what I'm offering. What followed was unlike anything Kale had experienced. Their first kiss was tentative, strange, her lips cooler than he expected, her mouth shaped slightly differently, but infinitely softer. As they moved together, her skin began to glow more intensely, the patterns shifting through deeper blues and purples. She was exquisitely responsive, her strange, musical voice becoming almost a song as they made love, her body moving in ways that seemed both alien and achingly perfect. They tangled together in his quarters, surrounded by the low hum of life support systems, and for the first time in years, Kale felt truly alive, truly wanted. Venya's luminescence intensified with her pleasure, lighting the room in ethereal blues, and when they came together, it felt like a cosmic synchronization, 2 different worlds merging into one perfect moment. 3 months passed in what felt like a dream. Kale and Venya had fallen deeply in love, their bond strengthened by danger and isolation. They spent their days exploring the asteroid, discovering strange crystalline formations in its depths that resonated with Venya's biology. Her fingers would light up when touching the crystals, drawing energy from them, making her stronger. They found themselves in a hidden cavern where massive crystal formations created natural amplification chambers, places where Venya could sing in her native tongue, her voice creating visible harmonics in the air. It was in one of these deep caves that Kale finally revealed his past to her. They lay intertwined on a bed of soft moss he'd cultivated, surrounded by glowing crystals that cast their skin in silver light. "I was a corporate security specialist," he confessed. "For 16 years, I worked for Megacorp Industries. I didn't know what they were really doing, not at first. When I found out about the experimentation program, the human trials, I tried to expose them. They covered it up, framed me for treason, and hunted me across 3 systems." Venya's luminescent eyes widened. "Kale, that's exactly what Morven does. Industrial espionage, human trafficking, secret experimentation. They're all connected. Morven supplies workers to Megacorp." Before Kale could respond, alarms blared through their communicators. His salvage partner Dex was trying to reach him. They rushed back to the base to find a priority message playing on loop. Dex, a grizzled spacefarer who'd helped Kale disappear years ago, was broadcasting from a mining station 2 systems away. "Kale, you need to know. Morven's putting a bounty on your location. Someone's been tracking through your old corporate files, digging into your salvage operations. They've narrowed it down to this sector." More urgent, Venya isn't just a dissident. She's Morven's daughter. She's the Crystalline Empire's diplomatic envoy to the Trade Federation. If she's been captured, it's a political disaster. If she's alive, and they find her before she can release that data, it could start a galactic war. The color drained from Venya's luminescent face. She looked at Kale with anguish in her eyes. "I didn't tell you. I was afraid you'd think I was using you, that this was part of some plan. My father doesn't know I'm his enemy. He still thinks I'm loyal to his regime. The data I stole proves he's been conducting secret negotiations to expand his slavery networks with other empires. If I release it, it won't just destroy Morven's criminal enterprise. It will destroy my family's legacy, my world's political standing." Kale pulled her close, understanding the impossible position she was in. "Then we need to get you to safety first. Dex is coming here. We'll use his ship to reach the neutral zone, and from there, we need to go deeper." Dex's final message interrupted. "There's a station called Sanctuary, hidden in the Veil Nebula. It's where political refugees go, where the resistance gathers. If you can reach it, you can finally strike at Morven's empire without him reaching you. But Kale, they're mobilizing. Morven himself is coming to this sector with his personal fleet. You have maybe 36 hours. Venya's skin began pulsing with distress, her luminescence flickering erratically. Kale held her as she cried, mixing human tears with what appeared to be crystalline residue that caught the light. They had so little time, and everything they'd begun to build was about to be tested in ways neither could imagine. The escape was chaos incarnate. Dex arrived in his retrofitted salvage vessel, a scarred old ship named the Wanderer, its hull patched from countless firefights and salvage operations. Morven's fleet appeared on the sensors before Dex had even finished docking. 3 massive destroyers emerging from faster-than-light space, their weapon systems coming online like mechanical predators awakening. "We're not going to outrun them," Dex said grimly, his weathered face tight with concentration as he plotted coordinates. "But there's a trade station in the Nexus 7 cluster, neutral territory, governed by Merchants Collective. Morven can't openly attack there without starting a trade war. If we can reach it, we can buy time. The journey was tense and violent. Morven's ships fired warning shots that tore through the asteroid field, destroying chunks of rock and scattering them like deadly projectiles. Kale manned the defensive turrets, while Venya worked in the engine room, her crystalline nature allowing her to directly interface with the ship's power systems. Her body glowed intensely as she pumped additional energy into the systems, her luminescence becoming almost blinding. She sang, not words, but pure frequency, and the engines responded, pushing the Wanderer to speeds that should have torn it apart. Sanctuary Station Nexus 7 loomed before them like a massive city carved from metal and crystal, a neutral trading hub where thousands of species conducted business without fear of military intervention. Morven's destroyers could only maintain position at a distance, unable to fire without violating galactic law. The confrontation happened in one of the station's grand observation chambers. Zero gravity, meaning they all floated freely. Morven himself appeared, a massive humanoid figure with silver implants covering his left side, his one organic eye burning with cold fury. With him came Nyx, the mysterious traitor who'd been facilitating Venya's escape route all along. "My daughter," Morven said, his voice echoing through the chamber with artificial resonance from his implants. "You've betrayed everything. Part. I've saved everything," Venya replied, her crystalline form somehow appearing stronger in the zero-G environment, her body moving with practiced grace. "The data has already been uploaded to every independent network across 17 systems. Your operations are exposed. By tomorrow, every planetary government will know what you've done." Morven's face twisted with rage. "You've destroyed our family. The Empire won't survive this disgrace." "The Empire will survive," Venya said, and Kale heard the pain in her voice. "But your regime won't, and that's exactly what needs to happen." Morven reached for a weapon, but Nyx moved faster, disabling Morven's guards with precise, practiced movements. Nyx floated closer, removing their helmet to reveal the face of someone Kale recognized from his corporate days, an operative who'd supposedly died during the experimentation program. "Hello, Kale," Nyx said. "Your testimony is needed too. Everything they did to us is documented in Venya's data." Kale looked at Venya, understanding finally clicking into place. Her sacrifice wasn't just political, it was personal. She'd gone against her own father to expose truths that Kale himself had tried to reveal years ago. She'd chosen a human salvager over her entire empire. Morven was led away by station security, his empire crumbling in real time as the data propagated across the galaxy. Governments that had worked with him in the shadows scrambled to distance themselves. Criminal networks fragmented. The cascade of consequences had only just begun. But Venya was devastated. As they made their way to a private chamber, she wept openly, her luminescence dimming to barely visible levels. "I destroyed my father," she whispered. "I destroyed my world's political stability. What if it collapses into civil war?" Kale held her, this extraordinary alien woman who'd sacrificed everything for what was right. "Your world will rebuild into something better, something kinder, and you won't face it alone." 6 months later, the galaxy had transformed. Venya's data had triggered a cascade of political upheaval, but not the civil war she'd feared. Instead, the crystalline empire underwent a peaceful revolution, with reform-minded councils taking control. They began dismantling the systems of oppression that had existed for centuries. The enslaved beings were freed. Millions of lives suddenly returned to them. Kale and Venya, however, had disappeared from public view. They'd traveled to Sanctuary, a hidden refuge planet tucked away beyond known space, where political refugees and those seeking new lives could start fresh. It was a world of incredible beauty. Twin blue moons, vast forests of crystalline trees that sang in the wind, crystal clear oceans that reflected the sky like mirrors. Venya's luminescent form seemed to glow brighter here, as if the planet's inherent energy resonated with her being. They'd built a small home at the edge of a crystal forest, where the sounds of singing trees mixed with the calls of bioluminescent wildlife. The home was part human design, part crystalline architecture, a fusion that represented their blended worlds. Kale had work here too, helping other refugees integrate into the community, sharing his salvage expertise to help the colony prosper. One evening, as the twin moons rose together in the sky, Kale found Venya in the crystalline garden they'd cultivated together. She stood naked in the moonlight, her skin glowing with gentle blues and purples, her body swaying in rhythm with the singing trees. When she saw him, she smiled, that smile that had captured his heart in a makeshift base on an abandoned asteroid. "I've been thinking," she said as he moved into the garden with her, "about what you asked me before we left Nexus 7. He stepped closer, and she took his hands, placing them against her chest, where he could feel her heart beating. That irregular rhythm that had become as familiar to him as his own breathing. Her luminescence intensified as he touched her, responding to his presence. "The answer is yes," she whispered. "Yes, I will bond with you in the crystalline ceremony. Yes, I will make this commitment, this promise across whatever universes exist. Yes, I will spend my life discovering new worlds with you, not just planets, but the infinite worlds we create together." Kale's breath caught. "Venya." "I'm ready," she said, rising on her toes to kiss him. Her lips were warm now, so warm, as if the separation from her empire had somehow changed her, made her more human, or perhaps made him more alien. Their kiss deepened, and her entire body began to radiate light, soft, gentle, beautiful. He lifted her up, and she wrapped herself around him, their bodies moving together in a dance as old as time, and as new as the birth of stars. They made love under the twin moons, surrounded by singing crystals and the soft glow of bioluminescent flora. Their passion reaching a crescendo, where Venya's luminescence became almost blinding, and Kale felt something shift within him, as if her alien biology was changing him slightly, merging their essence. When they came together, it felt like the universe itself shifted, realigning to accommodate their union. Later, wrapped in each other under the silver sky, Venya whispered the ancient words of the crystalline bonding ceremony, and Kale repeated them in his careful human accent, making them his own. Her family, watching through quantum-entangled communication, witnessed the ceremony in spirit. Even her father, reformed and working toward his redemption, sent blessings. The adventure that had begun with a crash landing had transformed into something neither could have predicted. A love that transcended species, empire, and the vast distances between worlds. On this hidden sanctuary planet, under alien moons, Kale and Venya had found what they'd both been seeking. Not just survival, but a future. Not just existence, but belonging. And as the twin moons set and the twin suns rose on their new world, their adventure was only beginning. They had a lifetime of discoveries ahead, new worlds to explore, new peoples to meet, new forms of love to experience. Together, they had proven that the bonds between beings could transcend biology, that love was the ultimate universal language, and that sometimes the greatest adventure was simply choosing to spend forever with someone who saw your soul beneath the skin.